D. A man contains within himself three major principles: will, love, wisdom, active intelligence or adaptability, and their differentiation into the seven principles. These, making the eventual 10 of perfected manifestation, are in process of vitalization, but have not yet attained full expression. Only 4 principles in man are active, and he is in process of developing the 5th, or monasic principle. Note how perfect is the analogy between man, viewed as the lower quaternary developing the principle of mind, and the atom with its 4 spirally active, and the 5th in process of stimulation. A man is governed by the law of attraction, is evolved through the law of economy, and is coming under the law of synthesis. Economy governs the material process with which he is not so much consciously concerned. Attraction governs his connection with other units or groups, and synthesis is the law of his inner self, of the life within the form. Man finds his place within the group form. Egoic groups and the heavenly men are formed by the aggregate of human, and of deva units. His responsiveness to outer stimulation. A. Electrical stimulation, affecting the outer form, or pranic response. B. Magnetic stimulation, acting upon his subjective life. This emanates from his egoic group, and later from the heavenly man, in whose body he is a cell. See the united effect of these 2 stimulations, inducing steady growth and development. A man is distinguished therefore by 1. His spheroidal shape. His ring pass knot is definite and seen. 2. His internal arrangement. His entire sphere of influence is in process of development. At present that sphere is limited and his range of activity is small. As the body egoic is developed, the nucleus of life at the center increases its radius of control until the whole is brought under rule and government. 3. His life activity, or the extent to which at any given time he demonstrates self-consciousness, or controls his threefold lower nature. 4. His sevenfold inner economy. The development of his 7 principles. 5. His eventual internal synthesis under the working of the 3 laws from the 7 into the 3 and later into the 1. 6. His group relation. 7. His development of consciousness, of responsiveness to contact, involving therefore the growth of awareness. A heavenly man. 1053. These heavenly men are 1. The sum total of consciousness. S. D. I. 626. 2. The creators. S. D. I. 477. 481-485. Compare SD, II, 244. A. They are the 7 primary creations, or the taking of the etheric body by a heavenly man. B. They are the 7 secondary creations, or the taking of the dense physical body. Trace this in the microcosm, and the work of the devas of the ethers in building the body. See the aggregate of divine intelligence. S. D. I. 488. D. The mint-born sons of Brahma. S. D. I. 493. S. D. I. 610, 618. They are the logoic quaternary, the 5, and the 7. The 7 rays. S. D. I. 561, S. D. I. 201. They are the 7 paths back to God. Spirit. They are the 7 principles metaphysically. They are the 7 races physically. The lords of ceaseless and untiring devotion. S. D. I. 92, G. The failures of the last system. S. D. I. 243, H. The polar opposites to the Pleiades. S. D. I. 579, 581. Our system is masculine occultly and the Pleiades is feminine. A heavenly man in his planetary scheme creates in a similar manner. CSD II 626.3a. Each heavenly man is likewise to be seen as spheroidal in shape. He has his ring pass knot as has the Adam and the man. This ring pass knot comprises the entire planetary scheme. The dense physical globe of any one chain being analogous in his case to the physical body of any man, and to the atom on the physical plane. Each scheme of 7 chains is the expression of the life of an entity, who occupies it, as does a man his body, for purposes of manifestation and in order to gain experience. A heavenly man contains within himself that which corresponds to the cells within the vehicles of expression of a human being. The atoms or cells in his body are made up of the aggregate of the deva and human units who vibrate to his keynote, and correspond to the measure of his life. All are held together and animated by his will to be, and all vibrate according to the point achieved by him in evolution. From the cosmic standpoint, a heavenly man can be seen as a sphere of wondrous life, which includes within its radius of influence the vibratory capacity of an entire planetary scheme. He vibrates to a certain measure, which can be estimated by the activity of the life pulsating at the center of the sphere. The entire planetary scheme is tinctured by a certain color, is rotating to a fixed key which is the key of his life cycle within the still greater Mahamanvantara or logoic cycle. A heavenly man is distinguished by his activity on one or other of the planes, which we call the triadal, or Atma Buddhi Manas, in the same way as a man is distinguished by his activity on one of the planes in the 3 worlds, mental, astral, physical. Eventually a man is self-conscious on all 3. Eventually a heavenly man is fully self-conscious on the higher 3. Every forward movement or increased vitality in the aggregate of men in the 3 worlds is paralleled by an analogous activity on the 3 higher planes. The action and the interaction between the life animating the groups or the heavenly men, and the life animating the atoms or men who form the units in groups is both mysterious and wonderful. A heavenly man on his own planes likewise shows forth the qualities of rotary motion, or his particular cycling activity around his life wheel, a planetary scheme, and thus around his egoic pole. Discriminating capacity, or the power to choose and thereby gain experience. They are the embodiments of Manas or the intelligent faculty, hence their title of divine Manasaputras, which comprehends, chooses and discards, thus attaining knowledge and self-consciousness. This Manasic faculty they developed in earlier kalpas, or solar systems. Their purpose is now to utilize that which is developed to bring about certain specific effects, and to attain certain specific goals. Ability to evolve, to increase vibration, to gain knowledge, and to make contact. This increased vibration is of a gradual and evolutionary order and proceeds from center to center as it does in man, and as it does in the case of the atomic spirally. Their aim is to achieve uniformity of contact with each other, and to merge eventually their separated identities in the one identity, retaining simultaneously full self-consciousness or individualized self-apprehension. A heavenly man contains within himself 3 major principles: will, love, wisdom, intelligence, and their manifestation through the 7 principles so often discussed in our occult literature. These make the 10 of his ultimate perfection, for the 7 are resolved into the 3, and the 3 into the 1. Each heavenly man has, of course, his primary coloring or principle as has man and the atom. Man has for his primary coloring, or principle that of the heavenly man in whose body he is a unit. He has also the other 2 major principles, as has the heavenly man, and their differentiation into the 7 as earlier said. The atom has for primary coloring or principle, that of the egoic ray of the human being, for instance, in whose body it finds place. This, of course, is in connection with the physical atom in the man's body. This coloring manifests as the vibration setting the measure of the major 3 spirally, and the minor 7. Only 4 principles in the heavenly men are as yet manifesting to any extent, though one of them is rather in advance of the others, and has the 5th principle vibrating adequately, while certain others are in process of perfecting the 4th. The heavenly man of our chain is vibrating somewhat to the 5th principle, or rather is in process of awakening it to life. His 4th vibration or principle in this 4th round or cycle, and on this 4th globe, is awakened, though not functioning as it will in the 5th round. Much of the trouble present in the planet at this time arises from the coming into activity of the higher, or 5th vibration, which will be completed and transcended in the next or 5th cycle. The analogy, as in man and the atom, again holds good but not in exact detail. A heavenly man is governed by the law of attraction, has transcended the law of economy, and is rapidly coming under the law of synthesis. Note therefore the gradual stepping up of the control and the fact that, first, the law of economy is the primary law of the atom. The law of attraction is coming into control of the atom. The law of synthesis is but slightly felt by the life of the atom. It is the law of life. Second, the law of attraction is the primary law of man. The law of economy is a secondary law for man. It governs the matter of his vehicles. The law of synthesis is steadily beginning to be felt. Third, the law of synthesis is the primary law of a heavenly man. The law of attraction has full sway. The law of economy is transcended. The dense physical body is not a principle for a heavenly man, hence the law of economy is transcended. The law of attraction governs the material process of form building. The law of synthesis is the law of his being. A heavenly man is finding his place within the logoic groups, and is seeking to realize his position among the 7 and by realization to approximate unity. His responsiveness to outer stimulation. This viewed from the limited human standpoint touches on realms unattainable by man's intellect, as yet. It deals with electrical stimulation, and concerns the response to solar radiation, and to paralleling planetary radiation. Magnetic stimulation, acting upon his subjective life. This radiation emanates from sources outside the system altogether. We might note the following facts. Magnetic stimulation of the physical atom emanates from man on astral levels, and later from buddhic levels. Magnetic stimulation of man emanates from the heavenly men on buddhic, and later on monadic levels. Magnetic stimulation of a heavenly man emanates extrasystemically, from the cosmic astral, the united effect of these stimulations inducing steady internal development. A heavenly man is distinguished therefore by 1. His spheroidal shape. His ring pass not, during objectivity, is definite and seen. 2. His internal arrangement and his sphere of influence, or that activity animating the planetary chain. 3. His spiritual life control at any given period. It is the